we're going to do big waves out there and we're going to assume that we're going to get Coach back. So we're just going to cross our fingers and see if he comes in here. And I'll tell you, I did not see any birthdays today. And for some reason, this always makes me nervous when we had a couple birthdays last week, so it makes me feel a little bit better. When I look at the number of people on here, I feel like we should be having birthdays almost every day. When we look at how many people that join us online and how many people join us on here, like I feel like we should be singing a lot of happy birthdays. So when we have a little bit of a stretch with no birthdays, I always get nervous. Like, am I missing people? So guys, if we missed your birthday or if we don't have you on here, please let us know because we want to sing to you. We know that you are just waiting to hear us sing to you. So we know that that's the goal. And well, okay. So I'm just going to kind of get started here because I see that it says that Brent's here, but I don't see his camera on. I don't see him. So we're just going to rock and roll. And um, today we are doing a word that was suggested by Cheryl Elliott. So the word is relevant. And I thought this was a pretty powerful way. So thank you, Cheryl, for sending the word. I always appreciate words when they're sent our way. So what does relevant mean? Closely connected or appropriate to what is being discussed or considered, directly related to the matter at hand. So what does that really mean in our world? Well, one of the greatest challenges I'm going to say on this earth that we face is not lack of information, right? We are bombarded by lack of information. What we can be challenged with is lack of focus. And not because we don't have great intentions, not because we don't want big things, not because, but it's because we live in a world that is filled with endless notifications. Have you ever had that where your phone is just ding, ding, it's just constantly being a distraction? Some of us choose, I'm not sure why, to wear this watch that constantly is shaking our arm, letting us know that there's some kind of distraction going on. And we've got opinions, opportunities, just all of these distractions, all competing for our attention. But guess what? Not everything deserves our time. And the people that make the greatest impact learn to ask, is this relevant to my purpose? And they don't allow every distraction to become a detour. And I'll tell you, this can be a huge struggle for me. We were at an event this weekend. I'll tell you guys this. We were at an event this weekend, and in my notes, I said, no snacks in bags. So why? Why did I make this note? Well, because we were at this event and it was a beautiful Super Saturday. Sheila Baikovsky put it on with Kelly Chun and many other leaders. Ken and Paula Stringer were there. It was a phenomenal event. They packed out the room, brought a lot of really great value. But you know who was a distracted little turtle in front of the room? Me, because I was listening to people open these little snack bags and I was so distracted because I didn't have the focus that I needed. So how do we become more successful? How can we become more focused when we are in a world full of distractions? And the quote that I found, and I'm jumping around a little bit in case Coach does get back on here because I don't want to do his whole lesson. But the quote that I found was from Bruce Lee, and it says, "The successful warrior is the average man with laser-like focus." So being relevant means that we're keeping the main thing in the main thing. So how can we do that? And we can by, as I did need a snack hill. We can do that by asking ourselves these questions. So first of all, and I think this is really beautiful for a Monday morning. I like to write my to-do list the night before. I feel like I sleep better, but maybe you didn't do that and you need to write your to-do list for today. Go ask yourself, what deserves my attention today? Okay, that's the first question. Second question is, what am I spending time on that isn't moving me forward? So, what is it that I'm doing right? That I'm spending all this time on that isn't actually serving me, that isn't actually allowing me to go get what I'm looking for in the future. And I'll tell you, anybody else guilty of falling into the scroll hole? Or we can fall down these rabbit trails and we can get distracted in these different directions. My daughter started telling me about this game, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, mom, we can compete against each other. It'll be so much fun." And I'm like, "Okay, Meow Meow Kitty or whatever it is does not need a space on my phone, because while it seemed like a great idea at the time, that is something that I could spend plenty of time on that would not move me in the direction that I want to go." Number three is, which conversations add value and which ones simply create noise. And this one can be a little bit of a hard one, right? Because there's so many conversations that we can have in a day. We only have so much time, right? And maybe so much energy. But there's so many conversations that will allow us to move the needle, help us grow as a person, help us grow our business, us grow our beautiful relationships with the people that we love and we cherish. And all of those conversations are so important. But there's other conversations that just create noise. And we've all felt that, where you get on the phone with somebody that you adore, but they just maybe complained about a bunch of things. Or maybe they didn't mean to, but they just crept a little bit of doubt on something that maybe you're dreaming about. They've made you maybe feel a little bit less confident than you did when you got on the phone. And maybe those are the conversations that we need to beautifully and lovingly take a little step back from and not focus in those spaces. Next is, am I focusing on what I can control instead of worrying about what I can't? And I think that this can be a struggle for some of us. If we had to raise hands, I might have to, walk around like this for this one. I love to worry. I just love to put out there something to stress about that I can't control. But guess what? That's not necessarily relevant. And it's not helping me in this moment or in the next. It's just giving me a little bit of anxiety. So if really ask yourself, what are you focusing on? And is it something that you can control? Like, I don't know, what's on your calendar that day? Or is it something you can't, like what the weather's going to be like when you're driving to your first appointment? We can prepare for it, but there's no real point in worrying too much about it because we cannot change it. And then lastly, we can ask ourselves, is this helping me become the person that I want to be? We have to realize, and I think we all do, right? Maybe sometimes we don't really give it the attention, but I think we all realize that our time is one of our greatest assets. And when we spend it on what is relevant to our purpose, to our family, to our faith, to our health, to our goals, then we absolutely can move ourselves forward into the direction that we want to go. So today's challenge is, before we begin each new task, right? It's a Monday, right? We all have a to-do list, probably as long as our arms. So before we begin each task, just take a small moment to pause and ask yourself, is this relevant to the life I'm trying to create? If the answer is yes, then go all in. Like Colleen, lean into it, love on it, give it the attention it deserves, your full attention. But if the answer is no, give yourself a little bit of permission to let it go, because that is how meaningful progress is made. So I know this was a little bit of a short lesson, but hopefully it was a good one. And hopefully we brought some value, and hopefully we get Brent back at some point. Hopefully he's okay. But I love you guys. I hope you have a beautiful Monday. Again, let us know if your birthday's coming up or if we've missed it, because we want to sing to you. But we love you guys. Have a beautiful Monday, and we'll see you back tomorrow.
Thanks,
Have a
Andrea.
great day.
Thank you. Have a
Andrea.
beautiful day.
Thanks,
Andrea.
Thanks,
Andrea.
Andrea.
Thanks,
Bye,
Andrea.
Andrea.
Awesome.